Today in our Google Meet, we met briefly at 12 o'clock to go over our quiz from Friday. So this weekend, students solved an independent practice quiz in Mastery Connect, and I wanted to make sure we had a good understanding of those answers. I'm going to go ahead and go back through that, what we did in live today, so that you can see it in case you're watching at a later time. Before we begin, I want to remind you to study your vocabulary. We have academic vocabulary that we've worked very hard to learn this year. Remember to continue working on it. You can do that in your interactive notebook, or you can also do that in Quizlet. Today we started by looking back at the text, Why Salt? Valuable Little Cubes. I then broke each question down and revealed the best answer. So part A, number 1, the best answer was B. Salt was so valued by Romans that it was used as a form of pay. And then part B asked for us to back that up with the best evidence, and you can see the best answers, A and D. A, this was called Salarium Argentum, or salt money. It's valuable if it's a form of pay, supporting the best answer to part A. And then D, the word soldier comes from the Latin soldere, meaning to give salt, which backs up the value it was given by Romans. Number 3 also asked for 2 sentences to best support the idea that our bodies need salt. The best answers, A, our health depends on having the right amount of salt in our bodies. And then E, if this goes on for too long, there could be serious consequences, even death, proving how much our bodies need salt. Number 4, read the following inference. The salt transported over the Salt Road helped Rome to become a great and important trading center. There are 3 details that best support it, and those are A, C, and D. People who controlled salt had power. Around 2,000 years ago, some of the people with salt and power were the Romans. And then D, one way Rome controlled salt was by building villages along the Mediterranean coast. Number 5, part A and part B. You can see part A asks you to break down the word overflowing. The history of the world is overflowing with stories of salt. What does the word overflowing mean as it is used in the sentence? Well, it means overly full of. And then part B, which 3 sentences support that? This was a challenge. C was the distractor, leaving us with the strongest answers of A, B, and D. And remember, a student solved this independently on Friday or maybe even over the weekend, and I'm just going over the strongest answers. In my live, I did go into more details, but for the sake of the length of this video, I'm simply doing a review of the strongest answers. Today we continued practicing our I can statement of supporting answers with the strongest evidence. We reminded ourselves of what is text evidence, and this is when you prove answers based on quotes from the text. So we read the text and we think about inferences, connections, and questions, and then we write down, highlight, or underline specific parts of the text that help us explain our thinking or answers to questions. The Early Life of George Washington is a text that we can use to help us. And today I did not model anything. I simply provided an opportunity for students to practice, and we will go over this tomorrow in our live lesson. And so I instructed students to read these task cards and solve questions like this from part A and part B. This assignment can be found in Google Classroom under the virtual learning section labeled 323 of 19. And when students click on it, they'll see directions to use this code to log into Mastery Connect. Once again, this is posted in Google Classroom, so students can do it at any time, and it is assigned for today. And then I gave a couple of troubleshooting pieces. If you're having trouble with Google Classroom logging in, please contact me on school status. And then if you have a question, also contact me on school status. We will pick up tomorrow on going over our task cards about George Washington.